starting a business or you want to grow your business and you want to do it with God as your CEO, we're going to help you with 7 business planning secrets from the Bible. And we're going to share that from the book of Nehemiah. So it's something that you definitely want to tune into. And also, you want to share this broadcast. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Cathy McReynolds, and I'm excited to help you grow your business or get one started. So do me a favor, like I'm about to do here, guys. If you can go ahead and hit that share button so that we can get this message out to some additional people and help them with that. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello so I can say hello back to you. And let me know what city, state, what type of business you have, and blessings back to you, Miss Narquita, if I am pronouncing that right. I hope I had that right there. But let me know, guys, where you all are tuning in from. I'm trying to get our share going on here. I see the broadcast. There we go. We're going to go ahead and share this out. Appreciate you guys. Let me know definitely what type of business you have. Go ahead and put that in the comments. We're going to talk about 7 business planning secrets and how you can, and I got to write a post here, and how you can use them to grow your businesses. This is going to be good today. I think it's good every week. But also, if you haven't done so, make sure you download your show notes. We have show notes so that you can take notes along with us as we go through this so that it'll help you. The reason why we come on here, we call it the workshop, so that you can actually do the work that's required so that you can grow your business. This is about you. This is about you growing your business and doing it God's way. And we are excited to help you with that. I got one more place to share it with, and we're going to get started. So if you don't have your show notes, make sure they look like this, guys. Make sure you download them. And also, when you're a member of us, we actually send you a hard copy of this so you can get those show notes and literally write down everything that we're talking about and helping you with. Okay, so we already got the everything shared. And if you, I'm just going to hit play on here, make sure that literally write down everything that we're okay. Just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear me. You said you don't have one yet. That's okay. Well, this will be a good start to look at, what type of business you have and how to do that. And, you can always shoot us a message afterwards and we can set up a time to talk and help you with that. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head over to, even though you can still see everything, I'm going to go ahead and head over to the workshop and we're going to dive in. So if you don't have the show notes, just start taking notes, and you can always watch the replay, whether you're watching us on Facebook or you're watching us on YouTube. We're excited to have you. And now, guys, as we go, I can't see the chat, but I will be back to it in the end. So if you have questions, make sure you go ahead and put all of those questions in the chat, and I will definitely go back and answer them for you. So today's live workshop is about 7 business planning secrets from the Bible. We're looking at Nehemiah 1:11. It said, Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man. I was a cupbearer to the king. That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. 7 business planning secrets from the Bible. See, most people don't plan to fail. They just simply fail to plan. So whether you're making plans or not, the truth is, it's impossible to build a successful business without a plan. It's impossible to build anything without a plan. Can you imagine if you're an architect and you want to build a house, or you want to build a house and you don't hire an architect, you don't have plans, you just find a piece of land and you start building it without knowing how? It's going to be a hot mess. And so that's why a lot of these businesses become hot messes. Why I've been a business owner for 25 years. I'm going to tell you guys my story in a second, but you must have a plan. If you don't plan, if you're not planning, you are planning to fail. In today's live, we're going to share with you how to use Nehemiah's 7-step planning model to co-partner with God as we make plans to grow a thriving business. You always want to co-pilot everything you do with God. Let him lead the way and you're in the back seat. So stick around to the end also, guys. If you can see those gift boxes behind me, we have a gift that awaits people for taking action on these 7 business planning secrets from the Bible, and also all the other academies and mentorships that we have. So let me just share a little bit about me, get that out of the way, because you might be thinking, what does she know about business? What does she know about God? What is she, who is she? Why should I listen to her? I definitely get that. I'm from Akron, Ohio. Grew up shy, sheltered, and in church basically 6 days a week. That was my life. Can anybody relate to that? Were you always in church growing up? My mom was a minister and my dad was a football coach. So our house was a constant revolving door of, people coming in and out, still the same, even though my dad's been gone for about 30 years. But I posted a picture of my little great nephew who I've had for the last couple of days. And it's always, somebody going, I call it that front porch. Things are always happening on that front porch. Always been around a family that just gives and serves. So it's something that's in you, train that child as you want them to go. We may depart for a while, but we eventually come back. So I left home at 19. I lived in the DC area, Baltimore, Boston, and Pittsburgh. Do I have anybody from any of those areas? Let me know where you are from. I say college dropout turned success students and doers. So I probably already this year, I think I've attended maybe like 4 or 5 different events. I'm always a student of the game. And I learned, I'm not, well, maybe I am poo-poo in college, but I believe that you should learn from people who have what you want, who have experienced what you want. I know you can go to college and get a business degree, but that business degree will not show you how, and that professor, if they've never been through a business and they're just off of theory, they can't begin to get inside of you, which is what really needs to change in order for you to create success. See, I've been a business owner for 25 years, and I know the only reason that I made it is because number one, I've always prayed no matter what about everything that I was doing. And, in the past, it was normally I'm praying because things weren't going right. Now I pray before I get started. I pray all day, and I'm just constantly seeking God for wisdom. And that's what I want to help you to do. I'm an introvert, as they say, that quiet person, but I still love to win, and you figure out a way to make things happen. So for you introverts out there, and I say that because you shouldn't label yourself. You are who God created you to be, but I want you to know that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish. It doesn't matter, because he will speak with you. Not perfect at all. I make tons of mistakes. And if you're doing something, you're going to make mistakes. No kids, but an auntie to many, international coach and trainer, licensed financial advisor for the last 25 years, business owner. I've made money and I've lost money, guys. And I don't know how many businesses I've had over the last 25 years, but through it all, I call them not losses, but lessons. And that led me to becoming an online business strategist and helping people turn, like, now I feel like I'm living my best mission ever, because now I'm at the point where I want to help people. My number one focus used to be money, 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 money. Now my number one focus is I want to help people to turn to God for their business and decide this is where, where they need to be, because that's what I decided. I'm like, you know what? I know I want to run a business online, and I started this journey a couple years ago. But what I really, really want to do is let people know how amazing and awesome God is. And, when you go to prayer and you start saying, I remember like fasting and praying and like, what is it that you want me to do? And this dream came to me to, build a business using biblical principles and help millions of people around the world come to God and change your life. And when my book comes out, which should be like within the next, couple of weeks or month or so like that, you're going to see why that's super important. So make sure that you grab a copy of that and ask me about that. So let's go ahead and dive into today's training guide. Secret number 1 is pray and ask God for favor. Now, you may be saying to yourself, what does it mean to have favor? So when I was putting this together, I looked it up in the dictionary. What does favor mean? It's an action word. So that means that something is happening. So a favor means to prefer someone, especially in an unfair way, to show that you like or approve someone more than others. There's 6 of us, and I used to always tell, like, everybody really, but my brothers and sisters, I always say, I'm my dad's favorite child. I still say that to this day, and he's been gone for 30 years. Why? Because he used to whisper in my ear, and he used to be like, baby, you're my favorite child. And I know he probably told every one of them that, but right now I just say I hold that undisputed title. So I have bragging rights on that one. Favor also means to approve of or support something, and to regard someone or something as most likely to succeed or win. So when you look at that, to regard someone or something as most likely to succeed or win, don't you want some favor over your life? Don't you want someone God, especially to approve of you and to give you, like they say, favor ain't fair. It ain't fair. But you know what? Don't you want it on you? See, you may be asking yourselves, is it right to ask God for favor and to prefer you over others? It may not seem right, but it is. Like you should have that connection with him and that feeling that it's just like you do with your earthly dad or your mom, and you're like, I know they're gonna do this because they just love me. And you may not say it out loud like I did sometimes, but you're like, I know I'm their favorite. Now they love everybody. But favor ain't fair, but it happens. So you definitely want to know what it is. Nehemiah thought so. In Nehemiah 1:11, he said, Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. Give your servants success today. Okay. He said, give me success today by granting me favor in the presence of this man, of this person that I work for, of these people that I needed to help me grow my business, of people that are on my job so that I can get off my job and go do something so I can grow my business. He said I was a cupbearer to the king. So you may be also thinking, are you worthy of receiving favor? Is that why he said that statement? I was a cupbearer to the king. See, when he said he was a cupbearer to the king, I looked up what cupbearer meant, and some say a cupbearer was a butler. And we know that, as a butler, your job was just to serve. When I saw that, I went back in time and I saw the butlers there, with that suit on and that tux and their hand out and the white glove, just serving. He was just serving. So he was a servant. Some say he was in a high paying position. Sometimes butlers get paid a lot. Sometimes, depending on when it was in time, they didn't get paid anything. So what you may be thinking is, man, am I worthy? Am I worthy to be able to ask God for favor? Am I deserving of that? And sometimes you think that because of the position that you hold in life. You're a butler, you're a servant, maybe you're sweeping floors or you're digging ditches. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You are worthy. But you have to understand what it takes to make you feel worthy. So I want to first examine Nehemiah, what Nehemiah said in 1:11. And I have underlined as we go through here the things that I want you to pay attention to. So if you're catching this on the replay, make sure you pause this and write these notes down. He said, Lord, let your ear be attentive. Let your ear be attentive. So number 1, he's saying, listen to me. Like, think of, I just had my little nephew, great nephew. He's 1 year old, but just imagine when they're pulling on on your skirt or on your pants, and they're trying to get your attention. And you're like, listen, Linda, listen, like, I need you to hear what I'm saying. So when you say to somebody, look, I need you to pay attention. My dad used to always go like this, right? Whenever he's trying to get your attention and he wants you to focus, he always said, look someone dead in their eyes. Don't look down. Talk to them, not at them, and let your eyes do your communication with you. The other thing that I had underlined is your servant. So he already recognized that, hey, I'm your servant. And because I'm your servant and I delight in revering your name, I need some success today. And I need to have that success in the presence of this man. Now, who is this man for you? So I want you to ask yourself these 5 questions and write this down, and wondering if you're worthy to dream big and have a successful business. If you're willing to, take what I'm sharing with you today and say, yeah, you know what? I am worthy to dream big. I am worthy to have a successful business. These are the 5 areas that you want to check yourself in, because if you step up, like if your parents told you to go, oh, you want to go somewhere tonight? Okay, great. So go clean your room, go do this, but you don't do it, then guess what? You're not worthy of getting what they said that you were going to get. So God has those same parameters for you that you have to ask yourself, am I worthy? Number 1, are you God's servant? Do you identify yourself as a servant of God? Do you delight in revering his name? Like, do you constantly, like, is it a joy? Is it a secret? I remember, even though I grew up in the church, I was not always in the church of other world. So I didn't always talk about it. Right? Anybody can agree with that or understand that you didn't always share, what you felt or what you did. And then I always believed in the beginning when it said, when you're in business, you shouldn't talk about God or you shouldn't talk about politics, until one day I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk about God every chance I get, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be there. And if you can relate to that, go ahead and give me an amen on that one. And do you want success? See, not everybody wants success. I remember talking to someone, I talked to a lot of people a lot of times, and they were like, well, you know what, Cathy, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And I didn't, sometimes you don't think about that, but you're right. God gives us each different gifts. So if you're on here and you're still listening, you're still watching this because you want to be an entrepreneur, you have a business idea that you want to make happen. So that's why you're tuning in. Number 4, have you decided who you need to have favor in the presence of? So if you want to build a business and you need customers for that business, you need favor in front of them. If you need help from someone who has what you want, you need favor in front of them. So you really have to sit down and plan all of this stuff out. You got to decide, who do you need to have favor in presence of? And have you asked him what he wants you to do? See, I promise you, I never went to God for the last, I've been in business 25 years. So pretty much I would say like the last 20 years, maybe 20 to 24 years, I just did and prayed after I did. Now it's different. And when you do things different, you'll get different results. I go and pray constantly, asking him, this is what you want to do, guys. This is secret number 1. Pray and ask God for favor. God wants to bestow his favor and his honor to you. And not because I say it, because when you look in Psalms 84:11, it says, for the Lord God is sun and shield. Sun and shield. That means he shines on you and he also protects you. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly. So if you believe what the word says, it's like, okay, I'm going to walk upright, and I know there's nothing you're going to behold from me, nothing that you're going to withhold from me and keep from me. So favor is one of those things. So guys, it is okay to ask God for favor. But when you do, when you go to him in prayer, You want to be specific in what you need prayer for in your business when you're asking him. I always say you got to be, in order to be terrific, you got to be specific. You got to know exactly what you need. And so I'm going to share with you 5 things when it comes to running online business, offline business, and becoming an entrepreneur. Here are 5 things that you must know about and have the answer to. Number 1, who should you serve? Who should you serve? See, a lot of people start out with, how much money can I make? What can I make money doing? No, you should flip that. And if you start with the who you should serve, maybe you're good with children and you want to serve kids. Maybe you went through a divorce and now you want to help other people. Maybe you've lost a lot of weight and now you want to help people with weight loss. See, all of those different areas, that becomes the who. Oh, I lost a lot of weight. It benefited me, so I want to help other people. So now you can help females if you're a female, or you're male if you're a male, help them do what you did. So you see how that works. If you start with the who, it's going to become so much clearer for you. And then you specifically can go to God and ask him these questions in prayer when you're doing for this. How should you serve them? So maybe you have so if I look at my last 25 years, pretty much I've been a financial advisor. So that means that I have an investment license, insurance license. I owned a daycare center, had some property, did tons of MLM. So I could serve in all of those different ways, right? But what came to me in my moment of prayer, who I should serve, was entrepreneurs. Why entrepreneurs? Because they have the ability to affect so many people around the world and make massive changes. I really, really believe that I was put here to do something humongous and something big. And that's something that you also want to know for yourself. And so when I'm serving them and how I'm serving them, helping them take the Bible, take God's word and use that to grow their business, we'll be able to impact millions of people like we want to. And then number 3, guys, this is so, so crucial. And it's something that I promise you, you're going to keep constantly working on all the time. It's one of those skills that you have to get down. Sometimes I be like, I don't even know if I have this skill all the way down, but I know that every single day, inch by inch, I'm working towards that. And that's what message should you use to touch their heart? Like what should you say? Like I do this Thursday show. I put out messages. I have newsletters, podcasts, YouTube, all of that different stuff on, the message that I'm putting out. So now is the message clear? So lately I've been doing so much training, studying, and reading on how to get that message clear, how to make sure that I'm saying the right thing to people so that I can get their attention. And that's a skill set that you must learn. And it's one of those things that you're not going to learn overnight. You just get better with it if you stick to it. Number 4, what media, marketing, and advertising should you use to reach them? There's so many options that you have out there. If you're on our email list, I sent out the other day, or if you're part of our email family, as I always say, I sent out a message the other day of saying, I'm trying to see if I have it here. I sent out a message the other day saying, I think it was like 29 or 30 different marketing strategies that we use in outlets. Like it could be from billboards to radio to online to offline to doing events. There's so many different ways that you can reach people. It does not just has to be online. You can meet them online and you can take them offline. You can meet them offline and take them online. So you got to know, based on the people that you're going to serve, what's the best media, marketing, and advertising match that's best for that audience that you want to serve. So like people who are on Facebook, they're normally from that 40, 45-ish range on up. The Instagram they're generally that younger group, or the TikTok, like all of that. There's so many different areas that you can do, but you have to understand what it is that you need to serve people on. And you start with one or two, and then you get about 10 to 12 of them working at all times. Number 5, super, super important. Who should you seek guidance, coaching from, or partner up with? And who is your Dream 100? See, God created us not for us to do everything by ourselves, but for us to do it with people, for us to have partners. And I tell you, especially, like if I've been a single woman on my own, bought homes, built businesses, did it on my own dime, and all of that stuff. So sometimes it gets hard to ask for help because you're so used to doing it on your own. If you can relate to that, drop yes on your own. You don't want to do that. That's the long journey, the long way to get there. The number one person you really, really want to get that help from is God. But he also positions you so that you can ask other people for help. So I want you to know it is okay. And especially depending on your culture, your background, some people are told, oh, it's a sign of weakness to ask for help. No, it's literally a sign of strength to ask for help. And you also want to know about that Dream 100. I don't have a lot of time to get into that today, but that is basically, the top 100 people who are already in your niche. See, there is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new in business. All you want to do is find out who has been successful and what you want to do. Find out what they're doing and then top it. Find out what we all say, when they zig, you zag. Find out what they're doing and make it better. Find out what created success for them and over deliver so that you can have more success and more favor now that you know it's okay for you to have that favor. Are your plans so out of reach? This is the other key, guys. Are your plans so out of reach? Like when I got on here, I told you guys that my plan is to affect and help millions of people because I helped some people become entrepreneurs, and then they turned around and they impacted other people. So I want to help millions of people understand about God, understand, how to start a business, understand how to market, advertising, and have success, and do it with biblical principles. So are your plans, not millions, me, little me, I can't do that on my own, but are your plans so out of reach that you can't do it on your own? And the only way that you can accomplish success is with God's help. Let me repeat that. Are your plans so out of reach that you can't do it on your own? See, if you can do it on your own, you don't need his help. If you can go make something because you already know how to make it and then you can sell it to someone, okay, you don't, like, that's just one-to-one. You don't really need his help. But when you get plans that are so big that it scares you, that it makes you uncomfortable, that you're like, all right, God, you put this in me. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to trust in you. That's where that faith comes in. You need that faith in order to make that happen, and he will help you. So if you want to know what God wants you to do, just ask him. Just ask him, and he will gladly tell you, for he is always ready to give a generous supply of wisdom to all who ask him. That was said in James 1:5. This weekend, when I drove down to meet my niece to pick up my nephew, it was like a 3-hour drive. And I'm driving, and of course, I always say a prayer before I get on the road. And I'm always asking God, to tell me what you want me to do. Tell me how you want me to do it. And I promise you, in that 3-hour drive, so many ideas start popping in my head, so many things that I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So when that happens to you, wherever whether you're meditating, you're just being still, you're listening, you're out in the woods, you're walking, you're by yourself, you're laying at night, you're in the shower, when those ideas come, to you, you got to do something to write them down. So all I do, guys, is I grab my cell phone, and if I'm driving, I'm texting, and I'm saying what's coming in my mind. And I was driving, and I'm like, whoa, you are just giving it to me today. You are letting me, like, just the stuff that he was just pouring into me at that particular time. I was just like, wow, this is exciting. I'm so excited about it, because he will generously supply you with that wisdom that you need to all who ask. So are you praying and asking God for the favor, for the wisdom? If you want our help, guys, I want to share this with you before I jump into the other secrets. So if you want our help at Bible Business Academy and answering these questions, the who should you serve, the how should you serve them, what message should you use to touch their heart, what media marketing and advertising should you use to reach them, who should you seek guidance from, coaching, or partner with, or who is a dream 100 for you, go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com, download our free report, and then book a strategy session to help you to get that wisdom about these questions, so that your prayer can be specific, so that you know exactly what you're going to pray about. This is what we do and how we help you on that strategy session. That is a free conversation. There's nothing that you pay for that. We just want to counsel and see if it makes sense for you to, for us to team up, for us to work together to be able to help you that. So let's dive into secret 2. Prepare for a business and wait. Yeah, I said that. Prepare for a business and wait. You're like, what? But what? Wait? Like, most people are like, we used to say, throw it up against the wall and see what sticks, or your ignorance on fire. These are like things that nowhere in the Bible it will say that to you, that just throw something up against the wall and see what sticks, or just get going and you'll figure it out as you go. No, that's the world way of doing things. We want to show you how to do things the biblical way. Now that you've asked and prayed, the next secret is to prepare and wait. What does it mean to prepare and wait? Because when you have an idea, I know before I would just like, oh, this idea sounds so great, and I just dive in and start doing it. I didn't count a cost. I didn't think about nothing. I was just like, oh, this is great. And guess what happened? That business fell, right? That business fell. So this is why we go through so many failures. And I'm not saying the one that he gave you won't fail, because maybe he needed you to go through some stuff so he can take you to where you want to go. But you have to understand what it means for you to prepare and wait. In Nehemiah 2:1, it said, one day, okay, after he had asked, hey, listen to me, God, I need your help. I need some favor here. He said one day, 4 months later. It wasn't immediate. It was 4 months later. See, here's what happens. Some of you guys ask for a prayer, and if it don't happen that next hour or in 24 hours, you're like, that wasn't God talking to me. This don't work. Or if it wasn't a month later, you're like, you know what? This don't work. I quit. It's like you get started at something, but you're not willing to do the work necessary, and you quit way too soon. You always hear that example of someone digging for gold, and they were like 3 feet away, and they quit right when they were about ready to strike gold. And the reason why you quit is because, number one, you didn't enter into that business relationship doing the right thing. So we want to remove that, because he says one day, 4 months later, when Emperor Artaxerxes, if I'm saying that right, was dining, I took the wine to him. He had never seen me look sad. Okay. So like, some of y'all look sad because it ain't happening when you want it to happen and how you want it to happen. And so your face, your actions, everything shows. You gain weight. How do I know? Because I've been there. I've done that, right? But warning, don't get discouraged. Now I understand not to get discouraged if it doesn't happen right away. And that's a muscle that you will learn to build. You have to build that muscle. And that's why it's important to be around people who think like you think or who have what you want so that you can get to where you want to go to. And so here's how you prepare, guys. You got to put together a roadmap. And that roadmap could be of people, it could be of classes, it could be of resources. Like there's a scripture that God talks about when he's sharing one of his parable. He said, who of you would say you're going to build a tower and you don't count the cost, you don't know what it's going to take? He said you're going to fail, and then people are going to laugh at you. Have you ever had a family member or a friend or someone you know laugh at you, talk behind your back because you failed at something, or you walk in on the conversation and you hear them saying something, and I remember walking up to one of my relatives' house, and they didn't know I was coming around the corner, and I heard some of the things that they said, and I'm just like, hey, if you ain't doing nothing, nobody's going to be talking about you. But see, the old me would have took that personally and would have been like, oh my God, like, why would they say stuff like that? But the new me, the one that knows God is in control and knows what to expect, is like, okay, you know what? Let me give them something else to talk about, right? So what we do here, just to give you an example, at Bible Business Academy, if you're new to business, here are the plans that we have in place for people who want to grow a business with biblical principle. We have a 30-day Jenna's Get Started program. We also have for people who are already an online business owner and want to grow it to 6 figures. We have the Ascend Academy, is where you start at. That's where you would start at. Maybe you own a brick and mortar and you want to teach people the knowledge that you have. Maybe you own a gas station or daycare center, barber shop, you own a grocery store, whatever it is, and there's other people who want to do that. You can actually teach them how to be, you're the expert already, so you can use that knowledge to help other people grow and learn. That's one of the areas that we teach you how to do. So if you guys can see this right here, this is like with Bible Business Academy, and I pretty much haven't done this. I remember like maybe 20 something years ago, I put a plan, something like this in place, but I really didn't know what I was doing. But here is every single area and avenue that we help people with. And we know, okay, if they come in and they have this, then this is the class that they're going to go to. It's like going to your guidance counselor. You go and you tell them, okay, here's what I want to do. And they suggest different classes that you need to take. That's what we do on that strategy call. You tell us where you're at. We tell you exactly what it is that you want to do, what you need to do. Maybe you want to improve in sales. Maybe you already got your business going and you want to, or maybe you're in an MLM or you're doing something like that and you want to improve your sales. You want to understand marketing. You want to understand advertising because you already got all the who, the what, the wheres, or you have your brick and mortar business already set up, but you just need to grow in sales, marketing, and advertising. Then we have a monthly mentorship program for that. That would be the perfect solution. So just like I showed you how we prepared and and waited until we got everything in order to start offering that out, you have to do the same thing. And it is totally different for each person. So that who is that person who wants to know how to build a business, who wants to know how to grow and scale a business, who wants to use biblical principles, if I'm using us as an example, but how they get started may be different for each person. So you want to literally write out a roadmap as to the cost that they would need to pay and what they would need to do, just like Jesus said, because if you don't count that cost, you're going to find out that it's hard to make it happen and you're going to quit, and we don't want that to happen. So focus on this scripture right here during the preparing and waiting stage. It says a wise man thinks ahead. See, this is being wise, thinking ahead, planning out what you need to do. Same thing we would show you how to do. A fool doesn't, and even brags about it, right? I've been that fool. Anybody else? Proverbs 13:16 says that I've been, from the wine business to selling, what have I sold, to travel, to you name it. It was like, oh, that sounds great. Let me go do that. Had no idea, didn't do any homework, didn't make anything. And then, guys, the whole goal for that person trying to get you involved in something is so that you can get involved, in most cases, so that they can grow their business. They're not even thinking about you and what you need and what God will is for your life. So this is why doing it with biblical principles makes you think entirely different. Secret number 3. Y'all ready for this? If you're getting a lot out of this so far, just let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up and let me know this is resonating with me. I get this. Secret number 3, expect fear and things to go wrong, but keep moving forward. You got to expect it. Expect fear and things to go wrong, but keep moving forward. So the king says to me, we're back in Nehemiah, why are you sad when you aren't sick? He knew he wasn't sick, but why are you sad? Have you been walking around moping because something isn't going right in your business and people are asking you, what's wrong? Are you okay? Is everything all right? Is there something I can help with? If you start getting people saying that to you, that's because your face is showing, your actions, you're doing something different. You're not being yourself, or they say you aren't being yourself. See, guys, this is nothing but depression. And he says, this is nothing but depression. I was overwhelmed with fear. I was overwhelmed with fear. Have you been, in that position when you're trying to build a business or decide if you want to get something started, or are you in the midst of it and all of a sudden you looking good, smelling good, but broke and sad at the same time, right? You're depressed, you're overwhelmed, you're afraid. And there's always signs of when people are going through this. And so you want to think about those signs. Are you faking a smile when you're in front of people? Are you gaining weight? Are you breaking out? Are you stressing? Are you not able to sleep at night? Are things not working out for you? Are people constantly worried about you? Or are you withdrawn from people and you want to be by yourself? Listen, I've been through, over the last 25 years, I've been through all of that. And you have to recognize where you're at in order to get to where you want to go. And know this, it's normal, and here's what you want to do when you're feeling that way. So I'm telling you how you're going to feel, but I'm also going to tell you how to change that, because these are things that you have to learn as you go through your journey, especially if you want to do something that's significant. I mean, think of Harriet Tubman as she was freeing slaves and going through. I was watching a documentary on her and how she would go through the town and carry a chicken and act like as if she was crazy, so people wouldn't bother her, or you're afraid that you're going to die every single day because you're doing something that's crazy, or you're getting sick. No matter what it is, you hear people when they get up to speak, they're backstage throwing up, or they're afraid and things are happening. That is normal. You have to go through that so that you can step out of yourself and begin to ask God for help. And so here are 3 ways that you can switch that around, and it's just a system that you can use all the time when you're feeling that way. Compliment someone else. Take the focus off of you. Put the focus on someone else. Compliment them. Ask them, what is it? Hey, can I help you? Whenever you're like nothing is going right for you, go to someone else and say, hey, how can I help you? Help them for free. Help them for free. Just get in that servant mode. When you're in that servant mode and you go help someone else win, it just re-energizes you. It gets you excited all over again. It takes the focus off of you. And then number 2, admit how you feel. Don't say that I'm not sad, or I'm not depressed, or I'm not fearful. It's right there in the word. It says that, yes, I'm fearful. Yes, I'm sad. Yes, I'm depressed. I grew up thinking that you should never say you're that way, because if you do, you're going to stay that way. No, you got to say you're that way, and you got to say, I don't want to be this way and I want to change. And then you got to make those changes, because that's what the words say. And remember, guys, go back and remember who you want to help and why you want to help them. That means you got to re-look at that dream. every single day of what you want to do, why you want to do it, who you want to do it, several times a day. And I said to the king, may the king live forever. See, this is when Nehemiah complimented him. That was a smart move. Like up front, he was like, I know I need something from him. Flattery will get you everywhere, right? So he said, may the king live forever. He gave him a compliment. So maybe you need to give somebody a compliment, or maybe you need to go serve somebody. And then why should my face not be sad? Okay, this is how he's admitting how he felt. Why should my face not be sad when the site of my father's tomb is desolate and its gates have been consumed by fire? So he knew that he wanted to rebuild that wall, that everything had been torn down. It wasn't looking the way that he wanted to do. See, so that was a mission. So you can see when you got something that's so big that you need God's help with it, and you know he put it on your heart to do, but you don't understand how you're going to do it, it can sometimes make you sad. If everything that you're attempting to make happen, it can change, like the mad mothers against drunk driving. When her child died because of the drunk driving, she didn't want that to happen to anyone else. So out of that sad situation, my child died, came something that saved millions and millions of lives. So you don't know what you're going through, why you need to go through it. So try to figure that out by doing these things, and it will come to you. Remember, he is giving you that wisdom. And number 4 in that, you got to pray again. Like, you got to constantly pray. Some of your prayers are long, some of them are quick. I remember I used to say, like, well, how do you pray? What do you pray? When do you pray? But through studying and teaching, some of them can be like as quick as Jesus wept. Some of them can be quick. Okay, God, I'm about to get on this broadcast. Please, whoever you need to hear this, let them hear this. Whoever's lives I need to impact, let them change it. So that's like a quick, short prayer. God, give me strength. Let the words come out. Quick, short prayer. Now, the longer ones is I'm reading my plans. I keep them on my phone. I write them down, and so I can go through and I can read those, and I can pray on those, and I can study on those, or I can take time away where I'm just like, go in your closet and you can get that prayer on by yourself. So whether it's short, long, quick, it doesn't have to be fancy, or you don't have to sound like the local preacher or someone else. You just have to have that conversation with your father as if he is like your earthly father, or your best friend, or somebody you can have that conversation with. And then you finish it up, in Jesus' name I pray, and ask of these things. So you want to pray again. Know what you want help with before you ask someone for help. Like, imagine, people, either they're afraid or don't know exactly what they want. Now, you can, like, if you're new with it, you could say, you know what, I don't even really know how to ask you or what I should be asking for, but here's what I want. But try your best to know exactly what you need. If you did all this planning, if you got on that call with us, so that we can help you, and you can do that by going to BibleBusinessAcademy.com. And then once you get inside our email family, just click on the link and book a call. We will help you with that. And you also, guys, you want to write out a list of 10 to 20 things that could go wrong. 10 to 20 things that could go wrong, or objections you may get and have an answer to. So if you're selling something, you're familiar with this. It says, there's objections, how to overcome objections. I remember 3 years ago, I went to a seminar that was how to overcome objections with Tom Hopkins. And for 3 days, we were in this seminar, and we were in this boot camp, and we had to memorize so many objections during that time period. And that was 20 something years ago. And I still know those objections to this day. Like, if somebody says, I want to think it over, that's fine, Tom. Just to clarify my thinking, what phase of this opportunity is it that you want to think over? Is it the company? Is it credibility? Level with me. Could it be the money? I memorized that over 2 decades ago, and I still got it. Or another thing that they had during that time, I'm not judged by the number of times I fail, but by the number of times I succeed. And the number of times I succeed are in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail, but keep trying. So imagine now, I went to that seminar over 2 decades ago, and that information of how to overcome objections, I was forced, it's like cramming, to memorize those because we were in an environment of that's what we did. That's exactly how we teach and train you at Bible Business Academy. So imagine taking a weekend, 8 weeks or 16 weeks or whatever the class is, and you have to like just get it down. You have scriptures that you can, like I can rattle off scriptures as well as I can rattle off how to overcome these objections. Why? Because it was intense focused training. These are the things that you need to do when it comes to building a business. You got to have the answers to those. So when they come up, you got to act like you've been there before. You rattle it off. That gives the person that you're talking to confidence, and you're not just like trying to figure it out. And remember what Jesus said: if you try to figure it out and you don't have a plan and you haven't counted the cost, you don't know the objections, all of that, people are going to laugh at you. You ever walked away from somebody who's trying to sell you something and be like, that fool didn't know what they was talking about, right? Or can you believe how pushy they were? This is why people are pushy, or they just talk because they didn't prepare, and they didn't expect things to go wrong. They just were ignorance on fire. They just went out there and made it happen. You don't want to be that way. And he said, then the king said to me, what are you requesting? See, if he didn't know, and a king asked him, or an influencer asked you, or someone who can help you said, well, what are you requesting? And you're like, I don't know what I want. I'm not sure. Your confidence goes, and their confidence and belief and trust in you goes. See, busy people are busy for a reason, because they got a lot of things going on. So the time is something that they can't get back. So you got to make sure that you're not wasting their time. And most of them won't allow you to waste their time. And people don't plan to fail, guys. They just fail to pray and plan. Most people say they just don't fail to plan. No, they don't fail to pray and plan. So you want to make sure that you're praying and planning, because things will go wrong. You need to expect them to go wrong, but you also need to keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. And remember, people don't plan to fail. They just keep praying and planning so they know what to do when that happens. We're on secret number 4, y'all. Have a clear, concise mental picture of exactly what you want. Like, do you see it? Like, literally, when I was driving and I was sharing with you guys how I was driving that weekend, or like literally I saw me speaking from stages. I saw people around me. It's just so crystal clear as to how it's going to happen, where it's going to happen at, the transformations. Like, that has to be so clear in your mind that it's undeniable that it's going to happen. Have you ever like dreamt about or wanted a car, and you start doing research on the car, or you wanted a home and you start doing research, or you drove by that house, the house that I'm in now? I've been here for 10 years. And I remember, when I moved here, I was like, because I like the reason why I was looking for another house, because a year before that one, the other house that I had lost it in 2008, with all I went through the foreclosure, losing my Mercedes, like losing everything. And when I came back to Ohio for 1 year out of that 25 years, I got a job, and I'm like, I can't do this. And so I left that. 6 months later, went over 6 figures, because I sat down and I wrote down a plan, not as detailed as this, not as detailed as having God in control of it, but I wrote it down. So all I saw was me back in another home. I went around, got a realtor, saw different homes that I wanted to be in, where I wanted to live. And all I did was that was my focus. That's what I saw. That's what I want. Same thing now. I have another new home that I want, that I'm going to get. And that's what I do. I see that picture of everything. You also got to see that picture of your business, what it's going to look like. We have a building that we're going to have for our business. Wrapping around that business is going to be like, the financial New York ticker sign is going to have scriptures going around it. We're going to have rooms where people are, learning different things like tech and marketing and sales at our events. At the end of those events, and we're going to have music, we're going to have praise, we're going to have so much excitement and joy there, and people learning and they're turning their lives over to God. At the end of that, we're going to have, altar call, like all of that stuff I see from Bible Business Academy. Why? Because I put it down, right? I see us impacting people. I see us helping people, own homes. From the money that we make in here, I see us doing this around different countries, having this academy. I see us helping people with drug and alcohol. Why? Because I've had that in my family, and I see so many good people losing their lives because of drugs and alcohol. So all of these things require you to have a whole bunch of money so that you don't have to ask anyone. You can just donate it and get people to help and get down and do the things that God put in you to do, because you are clear about it. You see it and you know that it's what you want to do. How clear are you? Do you know exactly what you want to do, who you want to help, how you want to help them? Even the money that you make from your business, do you know how you're going to give that back and serve people? These are the important things that you want to know what you're going to do with, and that we will help you with that. So here are 5 ways that you can, he says, I replied, if it pleases the king, if you are pleased with me. So if it pleases the king, if it pleases, God, if it pleases the person that you need the help from, and will you send me? So he knew he needed to be sent somewhere. He knew he wanted to rebuild. So he knew exactly what he wanted to do, exactly like you must know what you want to do. So number 1, look to please who you are called to serve, not yourself. Don't make it about you. It ain't about you. You're not working for you. You're working for God. And I'm telling you guys, when you switch that mindset, life begins to change. Most of my business, it was about me, my money, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to buy. That's what it was. And if you're honest with yourself, and most people, that's what it is. Some people are great and they didn't have to go through a lot of stuff to know that they were put here to serve. Maybe they had mentors and coaches and trainers and all of that up front. But as for me, I needed to go through this journey so that I got, literally, I say to myself, I got back to who I was as a child, and that was a giver, a server. Because sometimes life, because of what happens to you, because of what you go through, it can harden your heart. And I remember when I used to pray, God, please don't let my heart be hardened, because I felt like I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought. I didn't care what they said or did. It was just like I was numb to it, because so many people had like betrayed me in my mind, but because I didn't have that plan in place. So maybe you have gone through that as well, that you gave so much and people betrayed you. Don't let the devil block you from your blessing. Don't let the mistakes that you made keep you from getting what is yours and the favor that God wants to have on your life, because it will, and he will, if you allow that to happen. So the way you can change that is look to who you were called to please, not to yourself. Take surveys and ask for feedback. sometimes you just gotta, like, if you got the big vision or you're not sure, or people are constantly come to you, you can do a survey. Like I run surveys inside of my business now, like over the next 90 days, what is it that you need help with? Because you can get a lot of people coming through the front door. It's not about the leads or the contacts that come in, it's about how many people can you help, what are the results that you can get from them. And the best way to get those results is to find out what people want and get it to them. And you can do that with surveys. Practice, drill, and rehearse your message. I just talked about that, how we would have these boot camps. One of the things that we'll have here is we'll have a boot camp every 90 days where you'll be in a situation where you can learn something in a short period of time so that you can take that with you for the rest of your life. You want to also be clear and concise when sharing your message. The more you talk, the more you share. I am not a speaker by nature. I remember the very first time that I started speaking and sharing, like tears start coming through my eyes. I still get in that situation where when I'm in a new environment, my voice starts shaking and I'm nervous and all of that. And you're like, yeah, but guess what? I heard that you needed to go live in order to get your business going. So I just dived in without a plan, y'all. And I went live for almost 2 years, every single day in a row. But what that did, it didn't build the business that I wanted it to build, because I just had that part. I didn't have the other part done. But what it did, it made me comfortable enough to get on here and to not even think about this. When I'm doing this, I don't even think about it doesn't bother me. But if when it does, and if it does, I'm in those situations, I know how to go within, say that quick prayer, take a deep breath, and then just like, okay, God, whoever you need to hear, speak for me, or have someone speak for me. Like, when you think about Moses and he said, I can't talk. Can you have someone speak for me? So no matter what, he will always be there to see it through for you. You don't have to do it on your own. Have pictures and diagrams of what you need. Look at them every morning, every night. Here's a diagram. If I'm in my phone and I go to my notes, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. If I go to my notes, and I go to, like, every single morning, every single night, I'm reading this. But if I go here, okay, let me pull this up and I'll just pull this down. I don't know if you guys can see this. Okay, so first of all, if I scroll through here, this is my prayer and this is my request of what I want in my business that I read out. And I also have this written down, and I have pictures like of my family on vacations because I want to travel the world. I have pictures of Bible Business Academy. I have another business called Ice Fit Studio, so I have a picture of that I look at every single day. This is a $10 million ring, so this is the prize that I want to get for when my business hits 10 million. This is the house that I want to live in. These are the things that I want to do, the car that I want to drive, the office building that I'm now looking at for my Ice Fit Studio. The stadium that we're going to pack out in order so that, and I hope you guys can see that. Okay. The stadium that we're going to pack out with people and praises, helping people build their business. So all of this every single day I'm looking at, and you're not going to build that overnight. You're not going to build that, in a year or two. Most people who hit success, do some people get it done quicker? Yes. And some people take longer. You don't know how long it's going to take you, but as the great Art Williams used to say, you just want to stay excited long enough in order to see your dreams come true, to see it happen. So stick around, and when you have God on your side, you can do that so much easier. Secret number 5, y'all. Hope you're getting something out of this. Let me know in the comments if this is making sense. If you're having an aha moment, let me know at what point you're having that aha moment. If you need clarity and something that I've talked about or it wasn't quite clear, say, hey, can you re-explain this? I didn't understand. Now, you see how I just asked you guys those questions? That's how simple it can be to help get clarity in your message, because I can't lean in my own understanding. I can't lean in what I think. I have to speak to people the way they do, just like Jesus did. He had his 3, his 12, and then the masses. And they even asked him, like, like, Master, why do you speak to us differently than you do the crowd? Because there's certain things that not everybody understands and get. That would be like you being an engineer and you're having a conversation with someone who is in junior high school, and they have no idea about all the technical stuff, and you start throwing out all of these technical terms, they lose you. So you have to meet people where they're at and speak to them differently. So whenever you're like doing posts, or you're doing you're doing advertisement and marketing and stuff like that, you're generally speaking to your who, and you can get specific. That's why we bring people on a call, so that we can know exactly where they're at, because not everyone is at the same place. Plus your message, it could be to different people. I mean, with entrepreneurs, but if I'm speaking to someone who already owns a business and they have a brick and mortar, I'm going to have a different message to them than if I'm speaking to someone who is online. So you're going to have multiple messages about the one thing that you're going to help people with. So that's important. So secret number 5, you want to set a deadline. And the king said to me, we're back in Nehemiah 2 and 6. And the king said to me, the queen sitting beside him. Okay. So I don't know why that's in there, but it just lets you know, if you're a husband and a wife and you're going to someone, make sure both of them are there. Or if they have a partner, make sure everybody is there. I don't know if that's what that means, but that's what I'm going to say to you, because there's a reason why that's there. The queen sitting beside him. How long will you be gone, and when will you return? See, that's a question of time. So it pleased the king to send me when I had given him a time. When you give God or your business and your idea and the people around you a time frame, they know what to expect. Can you imagine playing a game, and you're in the pros, and maybe it's a basketball game and there's no time? So you're just playing until you're exhausted and you can't play anymore. No, when you have a time line, a deadline, something, when it's over and it's done, it's like if somebody said you got 48 hours to live or a year to live, you start to think differently. You start to do things differently. So deadlines are important in business, guys. It gives you a sense of urgency. It helps others gain clarity, that you can speak with them. Once they tell you what their dreams are, you can say, oh, okay, great. We have a program for that. Here's how we can help you. Here's how long it's going to take. Here's the roadmap of what you're going to have to do. And don't worry, we're going to teach you everything. And it also establishes a finish line for the goal to be reached. When you're down, like if you're playing football and you're on the 10-yard line and you got 2 minutes left in the game, you know that you got to move the ball. You got to get another down so that you can make it happen. You know that you might have to spike the ball and stop the clock so that the time won't run out on you. Sometimes your dreams run out on you because you don't have a timeline, you don't have a finish, or you stretch them too far because you don't have a timeline as to when you need to get it done. In here, on every single goal that I have a date and I have a timeline as to when I want it to happen. Now, keep in mind, that's just my line, and a goal without deadlines are just dreams, but we know that everything works in God's line. So we're at secret number 6, guys. Anticipate the challenges that you will face, because you will face them. Anticipate the challenges you will face, and whose help do you need in order to move through that challenge quicker? I also said to the king, back at Nehemiah in 2:7, if it pleases the king, see, this is the second thing that he said to him, let me have letters addressed to the governors of the province west of the Euphrates River, instructing them to let me travel safely through the territories on my way to Judah. So he knew that he had to go somewhere. He knew that he needed these letters in case someone stopped him to say, hey, so maybe in one of your business, you need a certificate, or you feel that you need a certificate in order to give you credibility. Maybe you need a building. Maybe you need equipment. What is it that you need? Maybe you need to learn a new skill. What is it that you need? All of this stuff has to be written down. So here are 4 things that you want to do. List and review 10 to 20 challenges you will face when building your big dream business. Man, if it's something small that you can do yourself and you don't need God's help, none of this might not make sense. But if you're dreaming big, if you allow yourself to listen to him and to take whatever he's told you that he wanted you to do, and you say, okay, I have no idea. I'm afraid that I need to do this, but I'm going to go do this. Same thing Harriet Tubman said, like, I don't know how I was going to do it, or I got it done, but I knew he was telling me what to do and how to do it, and he provided all the provisions that I need to make it happen. This is why you want to write down all those challenges. List 50 to 100 people who can help you with those challenges and who you need to network with. Why do you got to dream? And this is your Dream 100 list. Why do you got to list so many? Because, guys, you can ask the 100 people, and people are people. Out of that 100, you might get 1 to 3 who say, yes, I'll help you. And they'll stick with you long enough in order for you to get it done and make it happen. That's why a lot of people don't have mentors. People quit on people, but God will never quit on you. This is why you want to involve him in this. And number 3, know exactly what you would need to say in your phone calls, in your emails, in your direct message, on your text. Just don't wing it. Don't get up and just wing stuff, post stuff and like, oh, today I feel like I'm posting this. No, everything should be a plan. And everything you should do, you should have a plan for it. Whenever you randomly think that you're going to post something or put a message out there, stop. Don't do it. That is the old you. That is acting on the way the world acts. You want to have a plan, because in the Bible, it is so clear that you must have a plan whatever you're doing in the business that you want to have. You must have a plan, and remind yourself of that goal every morning, every night. When something goes wrong throughout the day, instead of complaining about it or whining about it, read your goals about it. Go back and look at your plans. Go read the Bible. When I remember, like, going throughout my career, when things would happen, I would just go sometimes sit in a corner in my car and just start reading the Bible. I would have tears rolling out of my eyes because I was so like hurt and disappointed, and like, why me? You know, that victim role, we play that victim role, but I still knew to go to God and get it done. But he didn't quite put all of the favor on me. At moments he did, right? And that may be happening to you as well. But use those moments as moments and lessons so that you know what you can expect and what's coming, because now you're doing things different. And that's what this is all about. Number 5 at that, he said, and please give me, okay, instructions to give me, him to give me. I will need it too. I'm reading all the underlines here. And a house for myself. You hear that? He also, in this second, he said what he needed, who he wanted to help, how he wanted to help, what he was going to need help with, what was going to happen. And then, guys, I was like 5, 6, 7, I don't know, down. And then he said, and I also need for me. So it is okay to ask for stuff for you, but don't start there. Start with who you want to serve. Start with your mission. Start with, how you want to help people. Start there and then get to the house for yourself, the car for yourself, the things for yourself. Most people start there, but that's not like, this is what they teach you to do when you're setting your goals. Well, what do you want? Write out your vision board and all of that. So it's about all the things that you want, and then you wonder why you look at those vision boards year after year after year and they never come true. How do I know? Because I've done it before. I just threw away some old vision boards of the times when I did that. See, now your vision board is, you're going to have a planning board, okay? And you're going to have a vision board. So after your planning board is done, then your vision board comes up. And you can see like all of this writing around me. These are like planning boards. So planning boards and planning is important, more important before you put up that vision board. So make sure that you have a planning board. It says, when you think that you're done with the challenges, guess what? Just when you thought you're selling and everything's going good, something else going to come up. So you got to be prepared. You got to stay around people. You got to stay in the word so you can stay grounded so you won't quit, because you will always for the rest of your life be going through something. How you get through it depends on how you build your muscles inside of you, how the faith you have and the trust in God that you have. And ask people who have what you want. Seek wise counsel. That's what that means. You seek the counsel of people who already have what you want, because they can help you like shorten your learning curve. This is why I'm always going through seminar. I just went to one. I have another one that I'm going through. I normally hit 3 to 5. I'm reading books every single day. I had someone ask me, why are you reading a book? Why aren't you reading books? Most people don't pick them up after they leave high school. You should try it as an entrepreneur. You should be going through a book a week. You can listen to it on audio. You should definitely be at a training or two, a live event at least 1 or 2 times a year, so you can get out of your way and so you can learn. We always say, I'm laughing thinking, we're like, yeah, I got to get around my people. We're coming out of this COVID and everything was shut down. And I remember the first training that I went to, and it was like, oh, like it was just beautiful being at that training. It was like beautiful going back to church, like just being around people instead of just being by yourself. This is how we were made. This is how God made us. So you got to make sure that you do that, and then write out your list of challenges and how they overcame them. So ask them, okay, so when this happened, what did you do? How did you handle that? What steps did you take? What happened then? Like, just be like that little child who's constantly asking things and know exactly what you want. Also, go back to your goals, to your planning session, to your vision board, and know exactly what you want. A sensible man looks for the problems. Sensible. Are you sensible? Are you? A sensible man looks for the problems ahead and prepares to meet them. Like Proverbs 27:12 says that. So if you are looking for the problem, if you expect, we used to say, what's the worst thing that can happen? Once you know the worst thing that can happen and you put a plan in place for that, you're like, oh, is that all you got? Like, oh, is that all you got? Because you already thought of the worst thing. Like I already, like, if I look at my life, the worst thing that can happen is losing, a parent. I don't have children, and I'm sure losing, your spouse. Yeah, like I lost my dad 30 years ago. So when that happened, and as I go through this, like, oh, nothing else bothers me like that did. If I got through that, then I know I can get through anything else. So I have plans, and I think that, like, if I get in that moment, like, you handle that, so you can handle this. You handle losing a home and losing everything that you had. So if you had to lose it all over again and start over again, it's okay, because guess what? A year and a half later, you went over a 6-figure income because of the knowledge and the skill and the tenacity and the things that you know and you learned and you refuse to give up on. So what is it for you? Are you that, like, ingrained with God that no matter what happens to you, he always got you? No matter what happens around you, he always got you. So anticipate those challenges. The last one, y'all, we're coming to a close here. Secret 7, you got to trust God to provide you with everything that you need to succeed. I just said that, but when I say everything, trust him with everything. Like, leave nothing up to you. Trust him. This is where those quick prayers come in, and the things that you need to do. And the king in Nehemiah 2:8, it says, and the king granted these requests. He gave him what he asked for, because the gracious hand of God was on me. See, it ain't about that person. You never know who's God's going to use to help you to fulfill that big dream that he put in you. So don't let your opinion be someone else's answer. Don't, talk yourself out of a dream and say, oh, I can't ask them because they're not ready, or they don't have the money, or they don't know what I want. You don't know what they know. If it comes on you to reach out to ask that person, look at your plan, look at your goals, check the Bible. If it's all within what you're looking at and doing, then go ask them. What's the worst thing that can happen? When I was training, our sales team, we built #1 teams in 4 or 5 different states and, cities and all of that stuff. So it's not a matter of where you're at. It's not a matter of how you grew up. It's not a matter of what you used to know. What it is a matter of what you get up and do every single day. Are you praying? Are you asking? Are you going through all of these steps that I just talked about? When you do that, God will put that favor on you and he will come through. Why? So he can get the credit. If you don't need him and you're taking all the credit and it's, oh, I did this because I'm so great. I did this wonderful, or that, because or me. No, it has to be because, man, God is so awesome. Like, I know, this little kid from Akron, Ohio, or this little person who dropped out of college, or, who had no formal education or training, or who had no experience, or who had no example, whatever it is for you, I know that I couldn't have accomplished any of this if it had not been for God's grace on me, his gracious hand, his favor on me. That's how you want to feel, guys. Have faith and trust that God got you. He got you, and his favor over your life and over your business. But also remember, okay, while you're having that faith and while you have those plans down, we have the plans down that I showed you. I have the plans down, right? Get out of your own way. And we may have plans, but God has the last word. Just remember, he has the last words. So if you just stay humble, you stay with him, you stay in prayer, you trust in him, no matter what happens, you just simply say, you know what? Okay, I have this plan. I guess this didn't work. What do you want me to do next? What's the next plan? That's no different than the iPhone. You guys see this iPhone here? I don't know. I think I'm on 8 right now, but I think there's an 11 or 12 versions. I don't know. But the first plan was the first plan. Now we're at plan 11. So had they not kept getting better with it and going to that next level, and every single year steadily working on it, it wouldn't be where it's at today. Now everyone is consumed with one of these gadgets at all times. Why? Because they've affected the entire world, and that was a vision to change the way people got information, or like with Google and things like that. But it didn't start out that way. So never despise small beginnings, guys. Know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, but be willing to adjust and keep working towards something, and you won't change businesses as much. Get out of your own way and let God be the CEO of your business. So, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? If you do, go ahead and drop them down. If you're not sure how to implement these 7 secrets in your business and you want to implement them, and if you have questions, I'm going to flip back over to that screen in a second and I can see them. Or if you're catching this during the replay, go ahead and write them down. I'm always going back and checking, or you can email me, text me so we can talk. A lot of people want you to go put your information in there. Now we do that as well, but like, if you text me directly, we can have a conversation. So text me at 1-833-BIBLE-BIZ and just text 7 secrets so I know what you want to have a conversation about. We have a gift that awaits you. You see these boxes back there. For all of our students, we always like to surprise you with different stuff with all the training. You see some of the stuff that we have there that we're going to give out to you. It's always changes, so you never know what's going to arrive at your doorstep when you become a member of our academy. For more information, you can call me at 1-833-BIBLE-BIZ, or you can email me at info@CathyMcReynolds.com. And you can also go to our website, guys. If you want to start there, go to BibleBusinessAcademy.com and we can help you with that. I'm going to flip back over here and see if we got any questions from anybody on here. I see some. Narkita Thorne, she said, I'm originally from Akron. Someone's in Charlotte, North Carolina. We got an amen here. So I don't see any questions. Now I can see your comments. So if you have any, feel free to implement them in there, guys. Let me know how this has impacted you. If you want help, make sure you call 1-833-BIBLE-BIZ or message me. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram or however you want to do that. Or LinkedIn, I check them. not as much as I should, but I check them, and I'm actually meeting with someone on Saturday so that we can hire someone that will always be around to check them. But you will be speaking directly with me once we get that set up and they take you through that initial step. So I appreciate you guys. Take these 7 business secrets from the Bible and utilize them to do what God put in you and to help make a difference in this world, and help grow the kingdom and get people to help people to do whatever it is you were called to do, and also get that home, that car, that travel, or the things that you want to do for yourself, because he has favor on you. He wants you to have them all, and all and all and all. All right, y'all. I will talk